Good day, open hearts, and thank you for being here at the Shell Energy. So I had a question, an email that came in, and somebody wanted to know, what do I mean when I said the feels? And what I mean about the field is our field of consciousness. Sometimes I'm referring to our collective consciousness, like all of us together. And sometimes I just refer to my field of consciousness, what's presenting in my field, or what's presenting in our field of consciousness. Like I said in the other video, life to me is my biggest teacher, bigger than some people say my mom or my children, or or my job in the emergency room on the hospital. Because within life, this is a container that we created. We experience the relationships, we experience mom, we experience being a mother, we experience being the doctor, you get me. Within life is where we experience these other relationships of father, mother, husband, wives, sisters, and neighbors, but we experiencing all these in our journey, our life. So that's why I always refer to my biggest teacher being life. And our consciousness is what creates the path, the life. When I talk about the fields of consciousness, I also to me, consciousness is same thing than God or source, because what we are is we are pure consciousness, and we are God in form. So it's the same thing. And when we are pure source consciousness, as that, we created our journey to walk it. And that's what I refer when I said that I am seeing or is presenting in my fields, is because when I am in meditation, and lately, this year has been even walking around without being in a state of meditation, and you feel something that presents in your field, and you feel meaning in your consciousness. And the easiest way to say it is in your path, in your walk, in your road, in the road. What is crossing the road? The chicken. What is presenting? So it could be that the person is coming in, but what is presenting is fear, right? It might be that there is a boss that likes to control everything, and is just trying to like micromanaging everything and wants to control everything. But when we experience this part of the field, we feel it as we are shrinking. Somebody is pushing us in and feeling small, feeling like we are not enough. So those are the points of pain. And that's when we start to open. Our job is not to lash out and argue and be angry at the other person or this boss that comes in with this control agenda. The control agenda is for him or her to take care of it. It's not your business. Okay, control just means the person lacks faith in their peers, or he's still stuck in hierarchies. Whatever it is, it's not your business to figure it out. Your business is how it's presenting to you. Is it presenting with fear, anxiety, the sense of not being enough, of not doing enough, or anything like that? So that is what is presenting in your field of consciousness and what you need to work on. So your consciousness, your field, is your journey. That's pretty much the answer to the question. Thank you so much, Corazon. I think it was Kimberly. She signed as Kimberly. Said that she wanted to just verify what I meant when I talk about the fields. And when I said we see each other in the field means when we are in our collective state of consciousness, where we meet all of us together many times a day. If we are conscious of this happening, we can experience ourselves as unity, as all together. Like the Sunday meditations with Sandra Walters that I've been doing for years. It's a point where you feel the connection of this bunch of fields connected, the unity, all of us together. There is another person, Mr. Hamid does meditation every first of the month. I think it's at noon on whatever time you're at, in the planet, so that is a wave. And that has been going on for years too. So you can do that. And the more you do those meditations, the more you feel the collective consciousness. There is another one. Oh my God, I can't remember, the triangle meditations that have been going on for many years too. Oh, it just went out of my head now. But anyway, these are just examples of how you can experience the collective consciousness, because you are putting your intention into it before you go into the field and experience it. So when we create our life, who created our consciousness, our Godhood, our source energy? We created it. And by this creation, we call in the other souls and consciousness that are going to help us, and somebody is going to play this role, and somebody's going to play that role, like the boss that's going to be pushing your buttons, so that you can see what kind of emotions are triggering you still. So that's your homework to do. The boss's homework is whatever it is going on in their head, but your work is to work on the buttons that you feel pushed. So that's what I feel, our journey, this life is our biggest teacher. And as we move through this life, we encounter all these experiences and relationships with other people. Even if you spend 20 years in the cave, you still had to have at least one parent. Even if after you were born and you were raised by wolves or something, you had a relationship with the mom that gave you birth, and then the wolves that raised you. And then you have to have a relationship with self in that cave for 30 years. So even if you go and live in a cave for 30, 40 years, you still have to deal with relationships. And now I'm out of the question, since I'm talking about relationships, and that is one of the issues that come here to the studio the most. One of the questions that come in to get resolved is relationships and money and relationships. So it's the same thing. It's only one thing, because it's either relationship with another being, being a human, or it could be a dog, could be a bird, or money. It's just relationships. See the relationships without labels of good and bad, because there really aren't any there are any failed relationships. We don't have failed relationships. We just have relationships. So they come to our field as doorways. A relationship comes and presents as a doorway. It is up to us to say, yes, I'm going to experience this, or not today. I'm going to take a left turn here, go that way. So the left turn is okay, and the experience is okay. There are no failed relationships. It is up to us to work on what the relationship is bringing and highlighting, okay? Maybe I do another video with the relationships, but anyway, if you have a relationship, a difficult relationship with your uncle, and you haven't talked to your uncle in 20 years, but still the name of your uncle comes in and you feel, you know, that anger right away, it's time for you to work on that. It's not your uncle's work to do or responsibility. It is your responsibility, because you are the one carrying this with you, and by doing that you are putting it on the field to be recycled and come back to you and everybody else that have the same frequency, and they might recycle it again and again. So there are people that still have no resolved issues with a person that passed away, and it could be done. Just because the person is not longer in the physicality doesn't mean you cannot resolve an issue with them. And everything, you know me with the other word, forgiveness. All forgiveness is self-forgiveness. So to boil it down with relationships is just forgiving everything and everyone. Okay, so anyway, the question was about what I meant when I talk about the fields, and that's the answer, right? When I say the fields, I am talking about consciousness. It could be the collective fields, you know, all of us together, all our energies together, or it could be just mine. And as we draw or write, you know, our journey, the consciousness does that, not the personality. We also set markers, and I think I talked about this before, of things that we definitely want to experience on this journey. And some of these markers may include very difficult experiences with a lot of pain, emotionally, mentally, physical pain. But again, pain is a catalyst to bring you can use it to open you up to higher levels of understanding, of higher levels of being. Many people get stuck on that victimhood, or being a victim, and that pain, and then just it's not a pain anymore, it's this suffering that just goes on. And when you feel that suffering it's a non-ending suffering, it's because you're reaching a point, a stress point, that, you know, some people, we might end up in the emergency room with an horrendous anxiety attack, like happened to me, I don't know, 35 years ago, 40 years ago, I don't remember. But it's because our mental field just creates, there was a breaking point of the suffering, and there was no more to give. Okay, so that's when we have these tremendous choice points that change our lives. So that's where I said, don't be afraid of pain, but pay attention where you are creating suffering. Pay attention to that, okay? Because those moments are not necessary. Oh God, oh my goodness, that's not very popular, I know, but it's just like I say, I'm talking from the corner of my universe, and this has been my experience, and if it serves you, I just present it to you. This is what has served me. Don't be afraid of pain. And sometimes, you know, we create the experiences of suffering to the point of breaking. And that's when we create some gigantic choice points. Do we continue to do this? Or do I move forward with a different, a different journey? Do I just shift everything, or do I pivot my whole field and move forward with a different plan? Okay, So you move through the world, but with a totally different frequency and plan than you were doing before. Or you can just stay in the same. Like right now, there's people that are, the stress levels of people are so high that because you don't get a break, and everybody just talks about stress and stress and stress, there are no openings. It's just, and stress is suffering. Then there's this incredible ball of stress that's creating suffering, and we continue to do the same thing to create more of it. So then there comes a point, a breaking point, and then you have to make a choice. You know what I'm gonna do. This is the breaking point. Many of us, if you are my age, you have experienced at least 5, 10 breaking points, and had made your choices. And now you can look back and see how these situations were incredible doorways, incredible experiences that open your eyes, and above all, they open your heart to a much deeper level of feeling and expansion of heart, and expansion of speaking up, and expansion of seeing clearly, and expansion of being not, if not afraid, at least less afraid, and expansion of not caring about what opinions others have, not experiencing jealousy anymore anywhere in your field. You know, these 4 moments where you clear that and they don't come back. Okay, so I hope that helps. So this is my answer about what do I mean when I talk about the fields or the feel. The feel is consciousness. That's what it is. And who we are is consciousness. And if we are pure source consciousness, we creating the feel. And the field is our journey. And our journey is our life. And our life is the biggest teacher. So love life, because it's your biggest teacher. Thank you so much for coming with an open heart and open mind. Thank you so much for your shares, your likes, and subscribes. Thank you so much for remembering we are the angels and embodying that. Divine blessings. Namaste.